Good morning, afternoon, evening, day. I don't know where you are. I don't know when this is. We are live here from the Odyssey HQ Mission Control. It started off this morning as bright. There was never any sunshine. It was grey all the way through, and now it's starting to turn into darkness. This is a continuation of the Momentum experience in extreme.
Just 15 hours of
and we're halfway through. It's going to be just fine. Yep. I'm here with Rutger van Zoudam, of course, and a whole bunch of people dialed in because we're here to talk about building critical infrastructures. That's the challenge. This is the finale. That is
beneficial for society, right?
Yeah, that's not in my script, but I'm seeing thumbs up from all the people on the screen, so that must be true. Yeah. Thanks, you completely made me lose my train of thought. We are here to talk about building critical infrastructures that are beneficial for society, and this is the finale. I'm back on track. This is the finale. Something we used to do on Sunday in a very, very hurried fashion. Now we've gone digital, we can do it on Monday in a more relaxed pace. We don't have forever, but we're going to make a good show out of this. And when I say we're going to make a good show out of this, I'd like to bring in our challenge lead for this challenge, and that is Jan-Peter Dominic, of course. This is not Jan-Peter Dominic's first rodeo. He's here from Nexus, of course. He's very well versed in Odyssey. Of course, this was your first Momentum because it was the first Momentum.
Yes.
But my guess is whatever I've got scripted now doesn't matter because because it never matters when it comes to Nature 2.0. And Jan-Peter, I just want to start with just shortly, how was your weekend with this digital experience as opposed to the previous physical experiences?
It was amazing. The co-creation with the teams was so thrilling. And this year it was even more about helping each other because we made the challenge a bit more difficult. But one of the highlights was Friday, 1 o'clock, I believe it was the team Methuselah who was in their session, and all the other teams who actually have different streams, so different things they want to build. Lots of them were in the challenge, and the chat was on fire. So we were having our exploration live, and all people, also a number of Jedis contributing. It was mass collaboration as I couldn't have had imagined it before. It was great.
Wow,
right.
That's obviously great for us to hear. That's you know what we hoped and maybe dared to dream, but could never promise until after it happened. We would only know. So thank you for that. What I know, because this is not our first radio, Nature 2.0, this is a conversation we could have and indeed have had for hours, right? You were gracious enough to send us a short video clip that explains this in a way that the general public now live, if you have no idea what we're talking about, this is going to help, but also in the future, and it prevents you and me from getting deeply philosophical and needing beer and whiskey. So I'm going to ask, if it's okay with you, for the tech team to roll that video. I believe it's just a minute or two.
Yeah.
And that will provide the basis for whatever comes next. Is that okay?
Super.
Fabulous. Tech team, please roll VT.
What do you think is needed to make the world a better place for all? Have you ever been stuck in your way to fix a problem you really care about? What was the hurdle? How did you tackle it successfully? Did it surprise you where the additional options came from? Do you ever feel something is wrong with the systems of today? What is it that you observe? What are the hurdles that keep it from going right? If you imagine yourself a tree in nature, is there a situation in which the hurdles don't apply at all? It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Did you ever laugh about the orthodoxies of the past? Can you imagine tinkering with today's orthodoxies? Now imagine you are a tree again. Can you laugh about the human orthodoxies of today? Do you see a glimpse of the hurdles and imagined orders that you really would like to tackle or dismantle? If you look around you now, can you already see instances, anomalies where this already happened? Can you imagine how many people like those hurdles to disappear? And can you imagine that those people would like to help each other? Can you imagine the additional degrees of freedom if we do this intrinsically motivated, co-creating? So, what do you think is needed to make the world a better place for all?
So there we go. That's kind of like the basis of where we're going to take this from, and I would love to give you some time to think about that, because it's not necessarily obvious or logical, so it's very easy to understand, but it also requires a bit of a shift and of the way you think.
It resonates also greatly, I think, with what we've discussed earlier in the Hall of Nights, when we could still be in the same physical space, where we had Otto Scharmer on stage, where you really go through a process when you hear something that is not immediately easy to integrate with your current system of thinking, right? And what people usually do is push that out immediately.
Kind of like an allergic reaction. You want to fight against it. It's just natural.
It's usually because the system needs to adapt and to integrate it, and this is difficult. It's just like corporate innovation, so to say.
You mean that's not easy?
No, exactly. So, and that's also why I deeply appreciate the work of Nature 2.0 is continuously challenging the ideas we take for granted. Some people, of course, love to experiment with that, and each year we see a very interesting bunch of people experimenting with those ideas, getting rid of all kinds of dogmas that are now part of our common thinking, and you can appreciate how a grid operator, a DSO, is looking at this, and have by now also accumulated a couple of partners, right, that have the courage to be on board of that exploration and that journey.
Absolutely.
So really looking forward to hear what has come out of this rabbit hole weekend.
We spend, you spend a lot of time going down the rabbit hole, and not just the weekend. I know that Jan-Peter, you insist on a lot of preparation because this is such a non-obvious way of thinking and doing stuff. So this is a deep rabbit hole that I think you've all been down, and now you're coming back out of it. I saw a comment being dropped in the chat there. Please don't do that, because that will be broadcast to the whole world. But in this case, Slinger was okay. He said, I think my brain has been upgraded to 2.0. I mean, that must be making Jan-Peter's day, that I can say. Jan-Peter, I know my script is going to go off right now, because every other challenge has declared one or maybe two winners, but my understanding is that's not what's going to happen next. Is that correct?
Yes, but what I also wanted to share, if that's possible for you, it's is what how does people working on their dream help for critical infrastructures? Are we able to share the drawing that we created about that?
We are. You sent us two, I believe. One was specifically about the 5 teams, and then the other one was a bit of a more holistic one. I think you mean the holistic one.
It's about 4 critical infrastructures.
Yes. I'm going to go like that, and that should be coming on screen as you talk.
Yeah. So the great thing is, as soon as people start to break paradigms, to see dogmas that aren't really true, they are making the world a bit the same because there's one less hurdle. And in the preparation, those 4 critical infrastructures discovered that they actually have the same systemic problems. So for us, the first thing was to discover that we are actually the same. The second thing is that we were in this challenge. We didn't ask the teams to solve our problems. We asked the teams to work on their dreams. And they have been cracking hurdles from day one. And the great thing is that every hurdle they crack, you crack for everybody. So we as critical infrastructures, and you can see that and on top of the drawing, every team showed us how to see opportunities that we couldn't see before. And that's the power of not only mass collaboration, but actively looking for hurdles. And just to say that it can be so helpful to not ask people to work on your problems, but be invested in their problems, because this is an engine of true collaboration.
Fantastic. I think there's a phrase, it's probably a meme or maybe probably a misquote out in the world of innovation that basically says, the thinking that got you here is not the thinking that's going to get you out of, and it usually refers to some sort of negative, problematic situation. But we don't need to go too deep down there. And that's what you're saying is if you on behalf of the 4 critical infrastructures come along and say these are our problems, please fix them, you may be actually contributing to them not getting fixed. And
we give them also all our respects, because we taken them for granted. Yeah. And by the teams challenging themselves, challenging the hurdles that they see to realize their dreams, we become aware of our own hurdles. So they giving us the questions to explore. And that's something completely different as discussing about answers we like or don't like. Mm-hmm. It are the questions that open our minds.
Yeah, and for Horizon 42 kind of exploration, that is particularly interesting, right?
But I can also imagine.
And for the 2030 and 2025 solution, where people then got really surprised.
And I can imagine, if we're just talking about this and having a beer and it's a few people, that's one thing. But this must be for the companies behind the infrastructures quite a position of vulnerability. You're asking people to say you're in the way of solving big things, making the world a better place, becoming a better company, infrastructure, etc. So for a large organization to be able to take that on board, it says an awful lot, I think.
Yeah, because you will find out how you are part of the problem in the first place, I think.
Which nobody wants to admit.
Exactly.
And the very first thing is that we get a better understanding of our surprises. Yeah. Because the world is continuously changing. The energy system got sustainable. If you look at it in 2003, start of sustainability, and TSO had to intervene 3 times. In 2011, the TSO was intervening over 1,000 times, and there were 17 days at which he didn't intervene. So the system change is already happening, and we are not noticing it. Now with the commercialization, with the solar parks, we're seeing the same. So how can a critical infrastructure be prepared for the future? This is where we need the collaboration. This is where we need to rethinking. Because as a grid operator, I want to ensure that everybody has energy always. Mm-hmm. And this is why the collaboration with the team is so essential to us. It's not about the far future. It is to understand what surprised me. Because there was a change yesterday that I didn't notice today. Tomorrow I notice it.
But it's
and
too
then
late.
I got astonished.
Yeah.
But I wanted to notice it yesterday. So it's not far future thinking. It is essential to be resilient in the current changing world.
Yeah.
Fabulous. You sent us another image, I believe.
That's for the. That's to explain what happened at the jury.
Okay, so that's a subtle clue from you to not show that one just yet. I've got some information on my screen in front of me, but I know you, you know me, you know what I want to do. I know that you're not going to let me do that. So I think it's best that, I explain that the other challenges have a winner. Sometimes they split into two if there's a very, very good reason, but we encourage. You don't believe in that, right? Help me out here.
Winning is a form of escalation. So if it's the end goal, it does something systemically. It is causing greater peaks. You can imagine that as DSO, we look differently on peaks. So also, again, coming from a systemic thing, we are interested, how can we create flow by taking away some hurdles?
Fabulous.
And this is what we have been doing in the challenge as well.
All right. So instead of a winning team, what are we going to be announcing in the coming moments?
What are we going to be announcing is what happened at the jury, and that was amazing. Because we had 2 jury members who weren't part of Odyssey before, and also not of the Momentum days. So they just flew in. They didn't know anything. The first deliberation was a 2:00 deliberation. And they were touched. They were emotional about what they saw happening. Because in the pitch, the team started to disappear. They were routing for each other. They were helping for each other. They were assisting each other. It was as if you see different entities become one. And that was so great that they took 2 decisions. The first decision was that we know we are the hardest challenge. As Rutger has shown, as you see in the video, we want you to challenge everything. And we give you a very, very tough time. And all the teams put in their time, were willing to explore, were willing to discover. Also on the places where it's very uncomfortable, they went for it. So the first jury decision was that we are going to reward every team with €1,000.
Kaboom! Congratulations, teams.
Wow. Really cool.
We're just changing the... Yeah, there we go. Lots of happy smiley faces and some slightly confused looks. Yay! Well done. But I hear that's the first part, so there must be a second part.
That's the first part. The second decision was that especially with the first 5 teams that presented, there was this unity. There was this ecosystem of ecosystems born. And we, as no other, want to see this materializing now. Not in 2052, like Rutger is saying, but we believe it can materialize now. And the great thing is there are places for that. There are living labs where new concepts are held and are asked to be self-maintaining in 2030, for example. So what the second jury decision was that we are going to make available €15,000 for the first 5 teams as a whole to come up with a pilot proposal for such a living lab or another environment if they would choose. Because of course, they are the ecosystem and we are there to help. So, how?
I'm seeing the same thing as you. People are like, wait, does that mean yes? I think it. What? Yes. It's okay. They'll catch up in a moment. I realize this is a surprise for them.
So maybe show the picture now, then I can, in fact, when the teams forgot the order in which they pitched.
No problem. It's yeah. They're going. Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's up on the screen now, but of course, it's entirely.
I cannot see it. Okay, then the 5 teams are Eden, who were the mycelium of all the teams. Hey, you have seen Jeroen in the chat. He's doing it here also. It is his way of living. He can't do anything else. It is Methuselah. It is Breakers of Change. It is Time Academy, and it is DoNet. Those 5 teams we already reached out to because it is a proposal, and we want to hear if they were willing to do it. We of course we have to define some boundary conditions if they need it. But basically, we asked them, are you willing to put in the energy? Would you like it to create that proposal in the 6 weeks that we have towards Ignite? And all the teams said yes. And there was one team captain with a team in another time zone. And there the team captain is already on board. And we are waiting for the others to wake up.
Fabulous. I'm going to try and recap that. You said all the teams walk away with a token appreciation, €1,000. That's not insignificant, so congratulations there. And then for the 5 teams that you just mentioned, 15,000 group budget is, I guess, the best way to do it. That isn't awarded to them directly, but to use to set up you call it kind of like a living lab. I know it'll be like no other living lab ever, because Nature 2.0, of course.
One of our stakeholders, one of our ecosystem partners, is already working on this proposal.
Fabulous.
So this is where we're going to talk with them and with our whole ecosystem, how we're going to formulate it. And basically our offer is to create this proposal to be part of the big European proposal, if I understood it correctly.
Fabulous.
For this living lab.
Very good.
And that means that essentially it's kind of like the prize fund that keeps on giving, because it'll be used to help generate this and start it up. But then, of course, once it's started, it's going to be available, I assume, for other people to come in and contribute. And I'm seeing so many
It's all about building communities, and communities that link it. It are ecosystems of ecosystems.
Yeah.
So we have this thing that has no name now, but it is all out of the connectiveness and the energy and the gratitude amongst the people to help each other. So it are totally new kind of incentives, but it are the incentives of old. It are the incentives that are authentic, that we already know. And now we have liberated them and brought them back to innovation where they should be part.
Incredible. We've got some time.
Great that you can now take them forward in a concrete manner. That I think it's really impressive to see after starting with machine to machine and then moving forward to Nature 2.0, that this has now reached a level of maturity where you can take it forward with ecosystem partners together. So hats off to that, JP, and all the ecosystem partners and all the teams. That is really, really impressive, because there are many people that are looking, or better said, searching in this field, and you are with this exploration finding things, and now you want to put them in action. And I think that's where the magic really happens, and that's also where you find each other. So really, really.
And to give a clue
really
to
cool.
the others who are looking, we are not looking for answers. We are looking for options, because if you are looking for an answer, you get stuck.
Yeah,
if you have thousands of options, you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
I love that. Find out how to become unstoppable. We do have some time, and I'd love, as much as I could do this all day and all night, I'd love to hear from some of the folks who were out there also plugging away all weekend. I think we lined up 2. I'm going to start, if I may, with Jessica Immelman from Space for Good. Are you on the call?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Where am I looking? There I'm looking. I think we're going to make you full screen so the whole world can see you in all your glory.
Hi.
I don't even know what to ask you, to be honest. How was your weekend? What's happening?
It was utterly profound for our team, and I think for the whole Nature 2.0 track. We transcended into a new paradigm for ourselves. I think personally, and with our team, we went through these iterations, some peaks and some valleys, and we're reverting to traditional ways of thinking and being pulled out of it. It was an extremely uncomfortable experience in breaking these norms and opening ourselves up to this infinite and abundant realm of opportunity, really. So there was a crash moment where we started saying, okay, well, perhaps, and then the agendas were shattered again, and that agenda breaking was the essential part. For me personally, I've walked away feeling more comfortable in the pursuit of what we will hopefully achieve. Congratulations all. And I feel that in removing that ambition to commercialize everything, and creating that synergy not only amongst ourselves, but with our group was focusing on reconnecting with Mother Earth, in creating that synergy with her and using the data available to understand what she's saying to us, that we can transcend ourselves into a new era. We're still trying to find the words, but thank you all. I think we are different after this.
I thank you so much for that, and I cannot promise you're going to find the words, because I have a feeling, just as you think you've got them, they're going to be gone, right? You know it already.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for joining us for a moment, and I'm wondering if we could also bring in Jeroen Nijkamp from Project Eden.
Yes, hello.
Where am I supposed to be looking? There we are. You're on full screen live, and there we go. You just said hi.
Hi, Mom.
To the whole world and your mom at the same time. Fantastic. I mean, I can imagine your weekend experience might be similar to how Jessica and Jan-Peter might have described it. But tell me, what did you see happening between the teams here that really changed your perspective or surprised you, or I don't know, pick something that you'd like to share with us?
Well, we started this whole Nature 2.0 journey with the idea of sort of, creating a new narrative for basic income, and we had preconceived notions of what we might be building and what we might be tackling, but we kind of came at Nature 2.0 with the intention to sort of hack nature, but in the end, nature hacked us, which was a really profound effect in the sense that every moment, it felt like every hour or almost every minute, we were constantly unlearning things as opposed to learning new things, which was really impactful. And fairly early on, we as a group at Project Eden, we let go of the idea of, okay, we're here to build a solution and we're here to tackle a problem. And we looked at it more, like JP said, from a mycelium approach, from what is everybody building and how can we build everything together? JP said in the last sort of stand-up that we had together, which resonated with all of us really well, we lost Project Eden, but we gained an ecosystem of ecosystems. And and he always said in the run-up to the hackathon that all of our building blocks would be the same. And they really turned out to be the same. Without forcing it, we very naturally emerged at a synergetic sort of approach and perspectives and solutions, and it was magical.
Wow. There's some strong words in there. Good to hear. I have a feeling one of those quotes might make it into some of the after movie type stuff going on, because when you say we came here to hack nature and nature hacked us, that's definitely I'm sorry, what? Moment. So no promises, just my gut feeling there. Rutger's looking at me like, shut up, Nick, we don't make promises about that sort of stuff. You're right, I'm sorry. There's something we did promise you, though, that I can be responsible for, and that is not the prize money, of course, that's already been handled, but the award. This might have been difficult in the physical hackathon because we printed a certain amount of awards and they were 3D printed in real time and. We've had to digitize all of that. I've got a feeling that you might all be far nerdier than me, so I'm going to murder this and you're going to laugh at me. But your track, your challenge, your teams, your teammates, your competitive, but you don't have competition in here.
Just your whole track,
collaborative track teams, etc. Have making the award over the weekend. It consists of 2,940 little blocks. I'm going to ask the tech team if they'll throw it up. They are already one step ahead of me. Thank you. 2,940 little blocks, some larger blocks that represent the wows that you gave each other and received. And hidden in amongst all that structure is some branching that represents the ecosystem joins and kind of like handshakes to collaborate. That has been turned into a piece of digital art. We are attaching all of the team names to that because, JP, I assume this is going to all of them. Yeah, he's nodding. That will get crunched, coded, whatever it is, put available. The proofs will go onto the blockchain.
Yes.
If they haven't already. And we will send you the keys to the kingdom to be able to prove that you are the one and only shared owner of that one and only piece of digital art. Still can't quite get my head around that tech, but I'm assuming, yeah, there we go. I'm getting a big thumbs up. I don't know if there was a thank you or a Nick, you did a good job explaining it. I think it was probably a thank you or a shut up and move on. We got a couple of minutes left. Rutger, do you have anything you want to add on to the end of this? Otherwise, I can let JP have the last word.
Well, I think made my remark earlier. I'm very eager to learn what will be next level for Nature 2.0 after each year is like this new wave of, I would say, awareness that grows about what you're actually trying to do together. I have great admiration for that. It's non-trivial. It's very special that this is happening, and always a pleasure. And I'm grateful to have you all on board of this journey. I think what I also meant with Horizon 42 is that you don't know when it will happen. So that says nothing about when it should happen, but if it happens, because it's about the pennies that drop. And I don't mean business model with that, but you know what I mean.
It's about the unexpected aha moments where you think you're talking about something, and then you do an Elon Musk. He's live on stage. He's presenting about the BFR, and this actually happened. And you saw him go live to the whole world. Interesting. I've just realized I'm probably the best way, he didn't say it quite like this, to move any product to anywhere on the planet or even off the planet the fastest possible. There's a whole, I hadn't thought about that. Anyway, back to presenting the thing we're here for. He didn't think of it in front, it just dropped in at the moment, and that's what you mean is you don't know when it's coming, you don't know what it is when it's going to come, and boom, there it is.
Yeah, and that's where I know JP focuses on connection, and that's the only place where it can really grow, because that's also the space between stories. Charles Eisenstein talks about, and that is where the reintegration with nature can really happen. So I think you can be proud of that together.
And of course, there's no point me trying to end this without giving Jan-Peter the last words, because he will do it even if I give him the space or not. So, JP, you understand this better than anybody. What comes next?
Yeah, for me, it's important to share my thanks, and also to share that I am humbled that all of the team members opened up and were willing to explore, but that also the organizing team was there to work day and night. I'm humbled by the openness of our 4 critical infrastructure parties who took a deep dive in exploring themselves and now are hungry to, during the Ignite process, become part of this ecosystem. To start mingling with those teams they were looking at afar. And last but not least, Nick Rutger, but also Stefan, who I called so often, and your whole team. Thank you for creating arenas, places where we can explore and evolve. If it's from machine to machines that can do everything, with the first ideas around Nature 2.0, and now where Nature 2.0 has become really a deep dive. We couldn't have done it without you. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, JP.
Yeah, thanks. That's
really, really nice.
Wasn't necessarily where I expected you to go, but now we are sitting here feeling slightly humbled as well. But that's
Absolutely.
the mission we set out.
Yeah.
I'm out of time, I'm afraid, so I'm going to wrap it up. If you're just tuning in and wondering what's been going on, that's okay. So do we. This was the finale for the Building Critical Infrastructures Beneficial for Society Nature 2.0 track, where there was no winner declared. If you're not sure what I mean by that, just roll backwards. It's pretty self-explanatory thanks to the video and some slides that JP has shared with us. Congratulations to all of the teams. I can imagine you might need some sleep by now, so enjoy that whenever it comes. And I noticed there were an awful lot of accents, regional accents in this challenge, so good job on being truly global based there. Congratulations, thank you so much. I'm going to let the team cut that. Before I say, we're going to take a short break, a much needed break, because I can't think anymore. It's not going to take too long. I think we've got about 25 minutes, and then we are back. No, I'm getting a whole hour. Oh, that means I can pee and maybe even put some food inside me as well. So we will be back here
18:45.
18:45 Central
CET.
European time. We're going to put it on the live stream so you can find it. And yeah.
Thank you all.
Thanks.